overgrown, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accepted that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving.
In the 1960s, at the height of the integration between acoustic and electric instruments, there sparked a far more crucial integration, that between the black and white citizens of America. Demonstrations and peaceful protests rallied proponents for civil rights for all humans, and also rallied folk and rock artists to create a new genre of music, folk rock. Artists joined the crusade against racism by reviving old work songs of the 20s and 30s by changing the lyrics to fit the bill. Music was completely integral to the civil rights movement because it was a bonding agent among the masses. Using the AABA song structure that was so common and catchy that many songs could be made out of it, and even the worst racists could be heard humming "We Shall Overcome" under their breath.
In the midst of protest and petitions, Americans needed leaders to guide them to a better tomorrow. Bob Dylan and Joan Baez became the leaders of a movement that was bigger than they could have ever imagined. The two wrote music that questioned peace, war, and freedom, which in turn captivated audiences everywhere. Dylan deliberately wrote "The Times They Are A-Changin'" as an attempt to create an anthem for the movement. When listening to Dylan's music, the guitar and harmonica are almost always present. Dylan is renowned for his powerful, poetic, and socially critical lyrics, distinctive voice, and essentially creating the folk rock movement. Baez and Dylan developed a close relationship during the 1960s and essentially became the king and queen of folk music. Joan Baez's early recordings were a mix of traditional ballads and blues, which were filled with poetic lyrics about change and a better tomorrow. Baez became a voice for social change and played a major role in popularizing the music of Bob Dylan. Although Baez and Dylan were the revivalists of the folk music, traditionalists still exist in the folk world.
We shall overcome someday. We shall be all right.
The folk revival was a time known for social thought and activism between artists and their fans. There were some other folk artists referred to as traditionalists that made the revival successful. The new Lost City Ramblers, Doc Watson, and Bill Monroe are among some of the most prevalent traditionalist names. One thing they all had in common was their traditional sound that paid homage to the folk artists before them. Doc Watson was famous for his authentic new style of fingerpicking. Bill Monroe is accredited for creating the genre, bluegrass, and the new Lost City Ramblers helped educate and introduce the roots of folk to a new generation. During the 1960s, folk music became more than a genre of music, with prominent artists like Joan Baez and Bob Dylan leading the way with their thought-provoking lyrics. We start to see music becoming a huge force of social and political change. It is extremely important for us to understand what the folk revival was to accomplish and how it shaped future generations' political and social ideologies for years to come.